Hello everyone, how's it going? Let me just check real quick the audio. Yeah, looks good, or sounds good rather. And as you can see, I am all alone today. Eva had some things to do. I'm not sure if she's going to join us later, probably not. So let's get right into the stream. For those of you who are just joining, my name is David. And this is the Infosec stream. Every second-ish day of the week, we have a stream around this time, which is 6 in Central European time. And today, as you can see it from the colors behind me, I'm not sure if it's very visible, but it's more red team oriented, and we're going to continue what we started last week. We're going to continue with the flaws.cloud CTF game and learn a bit more about AWS security. There's a second version or second episode of the CTF, flaws2.cloud. My hope is that we'll be able to finish at least the attacker side today. I'm hoping. I don't know exactly how many levels do they have there. And I think we have still 1 or 2 levels left from the first version. So we're going to continue with that one. I wanted to do a replay of the last week's stream, or rerun. That's the correct Twitch term, I believe. And I realized that it's not an option because we are not affiliate or partner, and I think that's only available for affiliates and partners. So I'm going to just sum it up, and the video is still available because it was only last week. However, reminder, if you want to watch back the VODs, then on Twitch at least, it's only going to stay up for 14 days, and I cannot re-upload them, again, because I'm not affiliate. So I'm thinking of a way to preserve this, and I do have the recording downloaded. I do that right after the stream. I think maybe, I'm not promising anything because it's a ton of work, I will go into the recordings and edit them and probably upload the edited version on YouTube, a much shorter version, streamlined version, but I don't want to directly export it to YouTube for reasons. It's just not something that I would like to do because these are really meant to be a bit clumsier, less prepared, because even just doing this stream takes up a lot of our time, and we want to keep more the pace and do fun stuff and interesting things rather than spending a lot of time on editing videos. Plus, I'm not that crafty with editing videos. Once I had to edit a couple of videos in Kden, and it took me way more time than I'm willing to admit. So, but it's something that is on my list. I would like to be better in video editing. It's just not something that is in the cards right now. Okay, let me just bring up the agenda for today. So Monday we had our blue-purple team-ish themed topic. And we continued what we had last Friday. Last Friday, we built 2 little attacker devices. And on Monday, I decided to test out a wireless intrusion detection system called Enzyme with Graylog. And to our biggest surprise, Leonard, the developer of the project and founder of Graylog and developer of Graylog, saw our go live tweet and joined in the chat, helping out right at the time when the configuration took place for Enzyme. So it was a ton of fun. If you missed it, check out the recording. We didn't really expect anyone to show up, I mean, I'm on the developer side, but it was a very pleasant surprise. And at the very end, we kind of managed to configure Kismet as well. I think the only thing that was missing was to auto start Kismet. And I even created the file for systemd, the service file. The only thing that was missing is to configure Kismet to log to a specific directory, because when you start it, it logs in the current directory where you started from. That's the only thing missing. If you go to the documentation, you will find the part that we decided, okay, we're not going to do it. After the stream, I did it, and it works wonderfully. So the stream is still complete. There's just one thing that you need to create kismet_site.conf and then point it to a log file, and make sure that the directory is under the user's ownership. that you run Kismet with. By default, Kismet will ask you when you install it if you want to do the SWID bit enabled. And if you say yes, it should work out of the box with the user that you did the installation. So nice and easy. And then we had a full-blown virus intrusion detection system. Maybe in the future we'll have some other projects related to this. I do have one really interesting idea to create more of a forensics challenge or lab. I'm not sure what it's gonna be, but the fact that Kismet and also Enzyme creates nice JSON formatted files makes it really, really interesting. So that was on Monday. Today we're going to continue on with AWS and flaws. We're going to play those CTFs. Friday is going to be a bit special. I have a few things planned to make it a bit more fun and not just the stream is mainly going to be about assembling the Prusa mini printer that we have lying around, and we really need it now because I would like to print out a couple cases for the devices that we created, and to make it a bit more interesting, because the estimation is it will be at least 6 hours, probably even more. So the idea is to include some fun games and fun activities that we're going to do every now and then when we're a bit tired or we finish a phase. I checked the documentation and they also included gummy bears to reward us when we build a part of the printer. But I also want to make it fun for you, because gummy bears, if we eat them, it's only going to be fun for us. And Ava is going to join. And I was asking Ava if we could do the Sunday Hungarian beginner-friendly stream, and she said yes. So we're going to do that one, continuing the TryHackMe Junior Penetration Tester path that we started last week. And I promise we're going to talk less and hack more. The first two modules were really about scoping and concepts and terminology of penetration testing, and I think we went into a mode where we were just giving stories and kind of venting some of the frustration that we see around this. But we're going to do way more hacking and actionable stuff, I promise. Some talking will be still included, and we're going to go in a pace that is good for someone who's a complete beginner. All right, so that's for the schedule. Let's check out some of the news. There's some interesting things. Let me just switch here. Of course, the thing that everyone talks about is the PwnKit vulnerability, which now has a logo and a name, but it's this CV over here, and it's related to the PwnKit privilege escalation vulnerability that exists in, well, basically in every Linux system or Unix-like operating system. So it's based on the vulnerability in PolicyKit, or well, that's the formal name. Now the short is just PwnKit, and this is a piece of software that is present usually on most systems to allow us to more fine-grain access, for example, through things like sudo. And because it's pretty widespread, it's affecting, technically speaking, every system out there. So Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, CentOS, and likes. And probably the most interesting thing about it is how stable the privilege escalation is. If you're interested in the technical details, let me see if I managed to update the commands. Hopefully I did. So let's see, news. Yeah, you find the original link there, and you can see that. So this was discovered by Qualys, and they also have some new dashboards for Qualys Scanner, of course. So you will be able to read through it. It's quite long. The point is, it's a pretty stable privilege escalation existing on modern Linux systems. Almost on every other one of them. Internet Storm Center also did some testing, and I grabbed the same exact, so you can see here, latest greatest version of Ubuntu, and I also did a little testing. So if you go on GitHub now and search for the CV value, you will see multiple repositories. Some of them are not detected correctly because there's some not the actual CV there, but you see multiple versions of the exploit, multiple proof of concepts. And if you pick the first one here, the process is super straightforward. You clone the repo, you compile it, and then you run it, and you're gonna get a channel. What I tried before, so this was in the morning, I wanted to try it out. So I just fired up the Kali, and this is the snapshot from last week. So we're going to continue with flaws level 6. So level 5 was the completed one. Probably should have named it level 6, whatever, doesn't matter. And I tried it out on Kali. Now this Kali box I downloaded right before we decided to start streaming. So it's the LS. What is that? What's the? I forgot the command. Sudden. So it's the. I saw even the command here. LSB release. That's the one. LSB release -a. So this is the latest greatest one. And if you look at the name of the VM, it's the 4A version of it. So I think it only lacks like 1.5 weeks worth of patches. And if we clone the repo, git clone, if I could type, then just close this one. Also close this one. Then we can even test it. Let's get in there, do a make. And that looks good, I think. You start off, and that's it. That's it. So, who am I? Root. It's pretty frightening that this is such a, and it really, it always works. So you can do this as many times as you like. Very stable privilege escalation, and I checked it in the morning. I'm going to start the update process if I see. So let's do sudo apt update and see if the package is there. I haven't seen it in the morning for Kali. Maybe throughout the day this changed. Just give me a sec here until we start up the upgrade command. I'm going to check the packages, and then we're going to move on, circle back here and see if the update now breaks. So let's see, that's L. There is it. So I think now the update is actually available. Okay, I'm gonna let this one run anyways. I wanted to update my box, so let's move on while this is happening. So there are, what is this? Agree to everything. There are vulnerability disclosures and bulletins for all the major distributions. So there's a Red Hat one. Wow. There's the Debian one as well. So there it is. It's the same package. What? Version 1able again. I'm pretty sure it was fixed before. That's strange. Maybe the fix was not perfect. Okay. So things are happening quite fast. I'm pretty sure like in the morning this was marked fixed. And now, if anyone knows what's happening here, then let me know. So Migration for this vulnerability is just load that anyone into your system. I mean, isn't that the same for all the privilege escalation vulnerabilities in that case? So yeah, that would be the ideal case. I've seen someone reporting that CentOS still haven't got the fixed version in the repo. Just check what's going on. Okay, all normal. I have my DSLR camera and the display turns off even though I have a DC coupler. And I had some problems, so I'm constantly checking it if it works, at least for an hour until we go to the meat part. So that's all for that vulnerability. We're going to look back as this finishes up. And a couple other things, minor things compared to this one. Sonic Wall has a remote code execution. I saw this one on the tweets. And I think it was also reported in the Storm Center podcast, or Stormcast, as Johannes likes to call it. I'm not sure if in Europe we have the Dell Sonic Wall really widespread. I think it's more in the US and maybe North America, where it's more common. At least I've encountered it with projects where what we did in the United States. So if you have Sonic Wall, patch that one as well eventually. The tricky part here is like, who wants to take the firewall offline. Hopefully you have a cluster, then you can do that. But even in that case, like firewall updates are pretty stressful. Usually you're behind a couple major versions and you need to go through the chain of updates. I did that one at an airport. That was the most stressful update I've ever done. And we did it overnight. And in the next morning, they had issues with the cluster nodes having the memory spiking because the version that we updated to turns out it had a memory leak issue, and it was consuming all the memory for the firewall. So they were flipping between the cluster nodes until we got there and did another update. Fun times. Updating firewalls, great stuff. All right, what else do we have here? VMware has here a few things on Log4j mostly. So they have the fixes released. Not super interesting. One thing that caught my attention, I saw this on Twitter, is this case here. I haven't read the whole thing, and it's kind of short, but it was reported that the Canadian Foreign Ministry got attacked and compromised. So we'll see if anything else comes out. Then a couple of fun ones. I saw this one also in the Hacker Shuli Meetup group. Someone managed to figure out how to buy NFTs at a cheaper price. Basically, the whole idea here was that if someone offered an NFT for selling, then and then later they removed that advertisement and advertised it on a higher price, it was still possible to find the original advertisement with the lower price and purchase the NFT. Yeah, kind of basic vulnerability, but it's a lot of fun. And I still don't know what to do with this whole NFT concept. I guess I will just wait and see how it plays out. One thing is for sure, that this last site that is also in the news links, I'm definitely not going to invest in. So I'm just gonna let you read this. The site is called Crypto CVs. CV is a software vulnerability in the cybersecurity world. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, I'll let that one pass. Here you can mint unique and famous CVs as collectibles, hold or trade with others, and there's the process. You pick a CV, you mint it, and then you can trade with the CV code. Yeah, let's. I'm not gonna comment on this. It's what it is. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay, the update finished. So I'm going to give it a try. I wonder if I need to reboot. If this one still works, I'm going to reboot, but no, apparently it doesn't. So you just get that the help. So the patch is already available for Kali. Update your Kali boxes in case you don't want to get like owned during the pen test. I'm not sure, but still, keeping your pen tester boxes is always a good idea. Regardless, the patch is available now. In the morning, this was not the case. So let me just see the chat. Man, I want to collect all the Log4j CV. I'm pretty sure it's gone. So I checked only one, and I'm not going to go back to the site because this is really not something I want to spend more time on. But I checked Heartbleed, and I think it was the third one that was claimed. So I'm pretty sure that the famous ones are gone. But if you're into this NFT business, then yeah, check out the famous ones. A couple ideas. You can also do Rowhammer, maybe. I don't know. They did have actually a CV assigned. Probably multiple CVs are assigned to that one. Then you can try. Yeah, Heartbleed was gone. What others? I wonder if the net API. The 08067 Microsoft Bulletin one is there, but I don't know the CV. I only know the Microsoft Bulletin one because I used it throughout my career multiple times. Eternal Blue, yeah, that might be a good one. Anyways, why are we talking about this? It's NFT business. Let's forget that one. Okay, what else do we have here after the news section? And apparently, like I said, Kali was patched. I don't have anything in my mailbox today that I can show, so we're going to skip that part. Let me just even delete that from my schedule. And next thing that we're going to dive in is the actual meat part, which is flaws. And I'm just paranoidly checking the chat if someone with like S Piper showing up. I don't think I was thinking about just dropping a message to Scott Piper telling him that we're going to do flaws today, but then I decided not to because I probably would be very anxious to try to struggle through something that for Scott is probably super easy and his own little design. So we'll see. If he drops by, then it's gonna be fun still. So what we did last time, we went through from level 1 of flaws, which is this one over here. And let me just also drop here the link for those of you who would like to follow along, which I highly recommend because it's online. Everybody can play. So we did this one until we sort of ran out of time. And I think we went also over time by about like 20 or 30 minutes because level 4 was really tough, at least for me. So level 1, I do remember that was a bucket accessible for everyone out on the internet, very common, and we just had to navigate there and get the flag, so this was super easy. Level 2 had a twist, and it was for authenticated users. So with an AWS account, you could still access this. What was level 3? I don't remember. Going to check the level 4 one. I do remember level 4. Now it burned into my mind. Oh yeah, I know. So level 3 was an S3 bucket where we had a GitHub repo and we had to look into the previous commits of that repo to find an AWS secret that was accidentally pushed to that repo. Quite common. Also, the other side is quite common when you just have like something on GitHub, a project on GitHub, and people have secrets, keys pushed to that repo. Very common. At least in the past, it was pretty common. Today, GitHub actively hunts for this kind of issues, and you get a nice notification from them eventually when they find it. But still, if you search on GitHub, you will probably find a couple of keys. However, I wouldn't be surprised to have these keys lying around just as canary tokens. So probably smart organizations might use this as an opportunity for early warning, early detection. Okay, level 4 was mind-blowing, at least for me. Let me just try to find the notes that we had. And I'm actually going to probably place it to a different place. Just give me a second there. So level 4 was a pretty tricky one because what we had to do there was that it was about a snapshot. So as you can see it here, the challenge was about a snapshot. Excuse me. That was accessible for everyone, and for me it took quite some time to figure out how I can actually access and get that snapshot. Just get everything back here on track. So this was level 2, level 3. Oh yeah, so this is also something that is interesting for us. I'm going to copy this one here and check. Normally we have already multiple profiles configured, so this one was something that we obtained on level 4, and the reason why I think we only have 1 or maybe 2 levels left is because we can see we can list all the buckets here with this level 3 profile that we obtained. However, some of these are not accessible. I think we tried a couple of these. I vaguely remember trying it. We can also give it a try if we haven't. But I'm pretty sure we tried this one. Anyways, we will have time to check that one out as well. And so level 4 was about finding. First, we had to find the instance with the snapshot, and that was only one instance, I think. Then looking at the volumes, and there was one thing that threw me off the rails, was the ID for the snapshot, because I think I tried to use either this one or this one, I don't know. So either the describe snapshot or describe volumes gave me an incorrect ID. I can't remember. Yeah, so I tried initially the one here in describe volumes, and I'm still not sure what's the reason why this is reported as such. Probably this is the current snapshot and you don't have access to that one, and this is the one that is accessible. Anyways, using that one, I think eventually, where is this? Yeah, eventually allowed us to create a volume. So I created a volume in my own account. Then I logged in, created a new EC2 instance. I just spun up an AWS Amazon Linux and attached that newly created volume based on that snapshot to that virtual machine instance, and then logged in through SSH to that instance, and we had to find the password for the password protected website. That was the idea. Level 5, it took us fairly short amount of time. Level 5 was all about the instance metadata service, or IMDS. And I think I was just looking at the hints, seeing if we can figure out something quite fast. And the hints for this one said that there's this special IP address. So this is the IP address for the IMDS version 1. And this is a kind of common metadata service that is available also on Azure, also on Google Cloud, and it allows you to access the metadata, which often will contain credentials for the given service. and we navigated. So there was a proxy application running there that allowed us to make a request to the metadata service on this IP address. Often, what attackers do, at least what I saw, what attackers, either real life or penetration testers do, is that they have maybe access to an EC2 instance, and then they can access the metadata service with that EC2 instance. So first they have to compromise it through some traditional means, network exploitation or verification exploitation means, get execution on that system, and then they will be able to access this service. So that was the idea. And to navigate this, so I only saved, I think, the last part of it, but you can make series of requests to this special IP address. The node that you start with is usually the latest node, and then metadata. IAM security credentials is the endpoint where you can find if there's any credentials stored. In this case, that was the flaws credentials endpoint name stored for the challenge, and we had with this an access key and a security token that if we import in, this allows us, and yeah, probably I should have just kept these ones. We'll see if we will need something like this later, but this is the this is just the environment variables that you can set. And once you set this one, you will be able to access all the resources as you would normally with these credentials. That was pretty much what we had last time. And for today, we are here on level 6. I think we read the lessons learned here. But I don't remember. So yeah, the point here is Google has additional constraints. So in GCP, you would have to use the metadata flavor header, explorator header, and AWS also has IMDS version 2. I think there are higher versions as well, which requires some additional headers to be set, and there's some additional security included there. It's still something that oftentimes you will be able to access. So this special IP address, very important to pay attention to it, because attackers are after the service. Often for your applications, you need to store credentials, and that's one very common way. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that you need to restrict access to the metadata service as well for instances that do not require that. Often it's just left wide open. So if something is stored there and someone gets hold on an instance, eventually they're going to get there. Okay, what do we have for level 6? For this final challenge, you're getting a user access key that has the security audit policy attached to it. So security audit policy is a special one that often used for incident response in the cloud, because you can access valuable resources like the CrowdTrail logs. It has all the permissions, and it doesn't require to mess around with the IAM and create a role, or to provide root equivalent access, which is a bad idea. So security audit policy is commonly used now in enterprises where they want to have a way to give this kind of access to, for example, a consulting firm that does incident response for them. And see what else it can do and what else you might find in this AWS account. Okay, so we have an access key and a secret now. So let's configure this profile here. Not list, just configure for the time being. And this is something that we did multiple times. So those of you who are just joining, I'm just saying that this is, I'm just looking at the chat here. This is a pretty common thing that you add multiple profiles that have various access, and you can work this way easily with the CLI. So let's configure this one. Access key ID. Paste this one here. It's a special character, of course. What was the region? I think it was US West 2. Yeah. Just looking at the previous note, so I'm just grabbing it from here. US West 2, of course we want to have everything in JSON, and that's it. Now if I do a list, we have the profile configured. Alrighty, so I'm thinking of ways how we could move forward here. So where do I have the, I thought I had the, command, what's it? Thought I had that command here for the different buckets. For example, flaws logs sounds interesting because it's with the related to the permissions that we potentially might have. And try to see what we can list out with this profile in S3 buckets. Good start. Okay, so listing, nope. I'm gonna save this one aside just in case we need it. I try to do a better job at note taking, but I'm not promising anything. So start off with level 6. This was pretty much nothing burger, but just because we cannot list out things, it doesn't mean that it is not something that we can use to, for example, to, what was it, flaws, dang it, lost it again. Level 3 profile was able to list it, right? Okay, so flaws.logs. Let's see if I can do something like this. S3 / flaws. Okay, no. So AWS security policy. Will allow us to access things like CrowdTrail logs, but maybe and certain buckets, maybe depending on what is configured in the environment. Where's the security audit policy here? So here, if you look at the documentation, this policy grants permissions to view configuration data from many AWS services, review their logs. So that's why I was kind of hoping that it's something to do with the bucket, but apparently it doesn't seem like it. Okay, so let's check out what we have access to. There's the IAM command, and we can use this to list certain policies and get the policy details, or list the available policies. Kind of think that list policy might be a good option to try this. Let's see. Probably should have looked at what is the. We'll figure it out. I try to use also more the built-in help. Okay, there's a lot of policies over here probably. Yeah, this is all the policies, which might not be okay. I'll put this one aside. I think I want to do get policy first for this given user. Policy ARM. Let's try first look for user. Add user, attach user, create user. No, these are not the things. Delete. Get user policy. Looks promising, I would say. So with the current user of this profile, I'm gonna see what policies are available. No, we're not. So this one requires a username and a policy name. I mean, I'm gonna put this one aside because eventually I think we might need this one. And obviously if you're a bit more experienced, then you might know the CLI better. The reason why I'm doing it is because I want to get a better experience and more experience with this. List attached user policies. List user maybe. I don't know. Sorry. This list user. Kind of makes sense, by the way. So list user policies, the slash profile. I'm just stealing the profile name that we had. We need a user name. Okay. For that, I think we just need the get caller identity. Should contain the no, it just has the account ID. Or is it the level 6? I think the level 6 is the actual username. Let's try it. It's user policies. Dash user. Oh, it's right above there. Username. Level 6, I think. Okay, cool. Although we didn't get much. So I think it's still another one, but okay, this is, I think this is default one to get the quarantined keys for compromised keys, but we're getting there. What else do we have here? Oh, we have under get user. What was the one that we tried? The one we tried was get user policy, and that one required a policy name. Okay. This use. What else we have? or what this one does. Still in the profile here. Okay, this also needs the username, which we figured out. Did I save the previous one? Oops. No, something fishy is going on here. Profile. That's more interesting. So we had this user policies, and list attached user policies gives us the, so that's the one that we want, not really this one here. Just gonna check the difference between, wait, first I'm going to set these ones aside before we scroll away. And names of inline policies embedded in the specific IAM user, and then list attached user policies is apparently what does what we want to. List all managed policies that attach to the, okay, so yeah, read the help, it helps a lot. Okay, what do we have here? So we now have policy names and ARMs. So I can go back to, what was it? The get user policy required the policy name. So that can be a good thing to repeat and check out the details for a given policy. So for example, no, it's dash policy name. Sorry, I will add a couple of new lines here. No, not like this. There, we can see it like this. And then this was this command where we needed the policy username and policy name. Username we have. Now we also have a policy name, so we can check out. This API gateways cannot be found. That's okay, because it's not, it's just attached to the user. So this is not gonna be useful for us. Okay. And then let's explore further. What other commands do we have? Like get policy. I'm not sure what's get policy and get policy version, so I'm going to put all of these aside and try it. So AWS IAM. What get policy once, and I'm going to do it the proper way. I'm going to look at the help first. This requires the policy ARN. So everything that is not in square brackets is mandatory, but we do have the policy ARN from the list attached policy. So we can check through these. And we're going to use that was the get policy, right? Profile. And then, okay, I forgot. What was it? Dash policy ARN. And like this. Okay. list API gateways, whatever that is for the time being, but I do like this. I'm going to repeat the same thing. So we do some enumeration here. I'm going to do the same thing for the others as well. So let's do it always like this. I'll rerun this command, and then I'm just going to replace, no, not like that. Just going to replace this part here. No. Bummer. Copy the previous command. Check my security audit. That also looks pretty interesting. There's the policy ID, path, version, boundaries, most of the security audit capabilities. I think this is just kind of commonly whatever common policies are usually attached to a security account. Let's grab this one too. This is the last one out of the free attached policies for this user. Right, we also had the get policy version. I'm not sure what that does. Let's check out that one. Retrieves information about the specified version of the specified managed policy, including the policy document. I would say let's give it a go. See what data is returned. I forgot to check. Anyway, it will complain. So there's a version ID and policy ARN that is required for these. Policy ARN. We're going to start with the list API gateways one first. And there are no, at least not really good tools that I'm aware of to do this kind of activity. There are some enumeration tools out there, but they usually miss a lot. And when you actually have to interact with the resources, that's pretty much the CLI that you have. What was the other thing? Version ID. What was the version ID for this one? So this was the list API gateways one. It's the one. V4 apparently. Okay, so there's this resource here which looks like an API, and this policy that is attached to our user seems to allow us to make requests to that. So that looks interesting. Let's do the other ones as well. So going to delete the version, to delete the ARN. And this one I will not check because I think it's a default one. I'm going to check the my security audit one though. But that API one looks more interesting. Version ID 1. So this is just V1. Okay, so this is pretty much all what we can do with this user. Okay, this thing got basically everything, a lot of resources. Not gonna save that one, but it's indeed a security audit account. Okay. Just looking at it. So we had this API gateway. So say accessible for us. Birmingham 13, thank you for the follow. I'm just looking at the chat, and I completely missed a couple of the follows, by the way, that happened between streams. So let me take the time to read it out loud, because if you think that you can get away with a follow without a mention, that's not true. So Hashfun, Real Rob _ Dr. SK, and G Babeshi. I think those are all the follows since the last stream. So thank you very much for the follow. And where was I? So we looked at the policies, and we identified this list API ones. And I also saw, when we listed out, to see some of the other policies here, I saw a couple policies related, and also access to Lambda functions here. There's also the level 3 policy here. So I'm just listing out all the policies and looking at them. Maybe we'll be able to see something interesting. There's the list API gateway. So the level 3 is probably the policy for the account that is allowed to list out all the buckets for this tenant. There's the my security audit one. There's also Security Monkey running here. So I wonder if anyone knows what Security Monkey is, or maybe you're using it. And Security Monkey is the opposite of another monkey. That's the hint. Does anyone know? So these different little monkeys, the Security Monkey is really designed. Oh, it's gonna be end of life, or already is. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what is the replacement, but Netflix, the Netflix security team designed a few projects like the Security Monkey one. Just lower a bit the music here. And Security Monkey is a project that helps you with monitoring your resources and assets. And they also have sort of it's not really the opposite of it, but another monkey that is called the Chaos Monkey, if I could type. So the Chaos Monkey is a cheeky little monkey which goes around and shuts off instances, shuts down services, and it's basically to test the resiliency of your services. I think there's also something that is called the Chaos Gorilla, or similar. Simian IME, yeah, that's the one. That is like it's retired. Okay, so I think they're moving away from these projects, but they probably have some sort of replacement for them. But Security Monkey is for monitoring. I'm not sure if that's going to be interesting for us. I'm just thinking what would be the next step here. It's tempting to look at the hints, but I don't want to do it just yet. But we're already spending 30 minutes on this challenge, which is kind of expected, I guess, because this is the level 6 challenge, so I think it's meant to be tough. We saw those Lambda function related policies. I wonder if there's any Lambda function that we can access or do something with it. So I'm going to let's do a list. Okay. Let's do a list again. List functions would be something useful. We'll see. Let's check the help. Okay, returns a list of Lambda functions with the version specific configuration. Okay, that sounds good. So I need my profile. Let me just copy that one real quick. I don't want to type this one again. Probably I should have chosen a shorter profile name. See, I told you there's gonna be something interesting. That I had no idea, but I was hoping that. And I think we're on the right track because this function is called level 6. So I think it's not a coincidence that this one is here. Okay, what are we going to do with this one now? So there's from the function there. I'm going to put this one aside though, because this looks juicy. Here's my note. Okay, there's a lambda function here. We had some policies that we discovered. Well, I wonder if we WS. No. Let's try to. Try to get the policy tied. I wonder if I need to define somehow the function, but we do know the function name and function errand, so yeah, it does need the function name, of course. That was level 6. Oh wow, this looks ugly. Anyways, to put this one aside, but we're going to format this, don't worry. It's JSON. The reason why I wanted to use JSON is exactly for this reason. I wonder if I don't remember if I installed it, but if not, then we're gonna install JQ. All right, so it's still ugly, I know. See, I'm just going to select the policy node here. So with JQ, if you're not familiar with this tool, JQ allows you to parse JSON data at the command line. I'm not gonna lie, it has a steep learning curve, but to do simple transformations and just select a node, it's fairly easy to work with. So I'm just selecting the policy node here, this part, and I want to format this. I wonder if yeah, I think I need to do something like this. So this is giving the raw results. Okay, that's better. There are multiple things you can do. There's one ugly. There's one way to. It's like from JSON or something like that. Terminal here. Yeah, I didn't really want to do a split one. No, probably I need a manual for this one. There's a way to properly format this. Which is a function that I'm not using that often. From JSON or something like that. Yeah, I think that's the function there. Let's try this one. So probably need to include it like this. Yeah, haha. The other solution would have been just to type it again to JQ, but this looks nicer. So this is just a function that does the formatting for us, and it's not that ugly. Let me save this one aside. And if I'm moving too fast and you're not able to follow, just write it in the chat. Like say, David, stop, you're too fast. We can't follow. What are you doing? But I'm just formatting the stuff here. And then I'm going to look at what we have, because I have no clue what we're really looking at, but this is the policy. There's an action, so we can figure out based on the policy what this lambda function actually does. Okay, so that's the resource, and it's invoking, executing this API. Not familiar with lambda functions and the API gateway, so gonna go back to the documentation a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna save this one aside. So I think eventually we need to call this API somehow. This API ID. Just take this format here, because we do have the region. Not sure about the ID part. Let's see if there's another document here. Control access for invoking the API. This could be useful. Okay, so this example is pretty similar to what we see. And then in the ARM, we'll be able to identify the structure. So there's a region account ID, API ID, and we need the API ID. So I'll try to put this one. No, don't bookmark it. I'm going to try to put this browser window next to this. So, okay, region, US West. Okay, this is the account ID. That's probably not super interesting for us. And then this is the API ID. Where's my document? So this is the API's ID. Then stage. Okay, so that's a white card here. I'm not sure that's gonna play out well. Method, then resource path. So yeah, so the resource path. So this is where that's the API endpoint, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that. We need to construct something like this. What is that stage name thing? And how do I get it? Because we still need that last piece for... Didn't save this one aside? Save something else aside. Because in that case, let me just open up here, probably a notepad. So we do know the region, that was US West. Where is it? Region US West, we do know that. Stage name we don't know. We do have the, I saved it one aside. We do have the REST API ID here, and we still need to figure that one out. And the endpoint is level 6. So I think this would be the format, but like, what is the stage name thing? No, that's not useful. Get stage, okay. Forget that one. What is this? No, this is not. This is not good, because this one requires the stage name itself. Like, but what gets the information about? Okay, so we need to know. But this is under API gateway, so maybe there's something that we can figure out from the help again. Do. Let's try to search for stage. No, create. I don't want to create a stage. Flush, no. Let's get stages. There's no list. Fantastic. So get stages. Gets information about one or more stage resources. Only requires the API ID. Now, okay. This was the API ID. And then the profile that we're using. That should be it. Oh, returned something. Stage name prod. That would have been one of my guesses, I guess, and maybe dev the other one. Anyways, a lot of work for completing the last piece. So I think this one is prod. I cannot type anymore. That's it. That's it. Go to this URL and it's the end. I mean, I wouldn't say this was easy, but we kind of figured it out. Wow. This is really it. Awesome. Okay. Lessons learned. It is common to give people and entities read-only permissions, such as this. Yeah, which is needed when you want to grab the logs. You really need that one. The ability to read your own and others' IAM policies can really help an attacker figure out what existed. Yeah, well, that's also true. So here we got a very powerful account, which is usually something that you get when you do response. Avoiding this mistake, don't hand out any permissions liberally, even permissions that won't let you read. Okay, wow. That was cool. I learned something today. I had no idea that this is how the API gateway URL structure is constructed. But it's pretty cool. All right. So to sum up the steps, we had a user. And after some poking around, we managed to figure out the policies attached to that user. Then we looked at the details of those policies. And then we discovered that there's the list API gateways policy that allows us to enumerate the APIs in the environment, or at least the one that we needed. That's a different policy. We didn't need that one. That's all the policies. And yeah, for here, I kind of suspected that there might be some Lambda function there because we saw policies tied to Lambda. I'm not sure if that's cheating or it was intended to discover it this way, but anyways, we found a function called LVL6. Then after some bash foo, we identified that this Lambda function has the permission to make a call on this API endpoint, and we had to construct at least this is what I did. Probably there's another way to actually call the API, probably through the CLI. I'm gonna check the hints for this one because I'm pretty sure I didn't do it the intentional way. And then we had to get all the components because the stage was not there, which was just prod, and then yeah, that was the end for it. Now, if we go back to, I'm going to close all of these. We go back here, hint number 1. Okay, yeah, I think we used this one, right? Eventually, once I was able to figure out that that's the one that you need to use, getting the policy details. Okay, so Yeah, so far they did the same thing as we did. Okay. See some things about lambdas, but how do you figure out it's... Okay, there was also some... It feels like it was a random chance and then... Get stages... Yeah, they did the same thing. Okay. Wow. So apparently this was more straightforward than... Ah! No! I'm gonna just put this one here. This was more straightforward. And that's the end. So we only missed one level last time. For flaws 1. Okay. We're doing quite well on time-wise. So, flaws 2. The journey continues. I'm going to drop a bookmark here. So, flaws 2 has an attacker and the defender side. And I was poking around. I don't know how many levels are there for the attacker one. But the defender side is really a walkthrough, so I think we should be able to finish this part up in like 30 minutes. And I'm hoping that maybe we also have time to load in, because this is about CloudTrail logs. Hope we will have time to load this one into SoftElk. I'm going to show you what SoftElk is, what it does. It's basically a community resource VM that you can use to do network forensics mainly, or you can also use it as a SIEM. Has the Elastic Stack running on it. Actually, I'm talking about it, but I'm not showing it to you. So SoftElk is a virtual appliance and a set of configurations for Elastic made by a friend and mentor of mine, Phil Hagen. And if you want to download it, you can download it. This is something that we use at Sense classes. A couple of Sense classes are using this VM, like the Cloud Forensics one, just using this VM, a customized version of it. Network Forensics class does use it, and I think the SIEM class is also using this VM. So think of it as like a security monitoring and forensics distribution, like the defer version of Kali, sort of. So there's these are the list of classes. Okay, in 501 they also use it, and in 509 as well. Okay, I had no idea. Anyways, I already downloaded this one. I ran the update command on it, and I configured the MaxMime database. This is something that requires now a free account, and then you need to generate API keys. It's not interesting really, and everything is written down here at the GitHub page. So if you want to check that one out, I'm gonna drop it also in the chat, so you guys can check this one out. So I have a VM that has the API keys configured. The reason why you need to do it because MaxMime decided that they're going to change their license, and you cannot distribute that with your solution without the permission and to pay them money. So instead, you can configure it on your own and download the MaxMime database. So I hope that we will have time for this, but mainly this is a red team oriented stream. So let's take a look at it. And I just realized that probably having some real estate here is more beneficial like this. Okay, so this is the first, that's all that we get as a starting point. Okay, so you will exploit your way through misconfigurations in serverless and containers. Oh my, those are definitely not the ones that I'm more familiar with, but let's go. We're here to learn. In the defender path, that target is now viewed as a victim, and you will work as an incident responder for the same app. Okay, we're gonna use JQ, so if you hated it, then Athena in your own environment. Okay, I had no idea that this one also contains Athena usage, but for this level, you will need to enter the correct pin code. The correct pin is 100 digits long, so brute forcing it won't help. Okay, and there's a code here. Incorrect. Try again. Test. Or meh. Single quote test. But it must be a number. That's annoying. This looks like something more web application oriented, at least at the beginning. So let's fire up our favorite tool, burp. What's happening? Okay, it just takes time. Yeah, whatever. I accept everything. Okay, we're gonna start up burp suite. I just want to see what's happening in the background. Because it's a JavaScript pop-up, so we might be able to bypass that one fairly easily. Oops. Wonder how many times this will start up. So I like to use the Chromium browser built in with burp. I'm just going to grab, well, probably not incorrect. What's the starting URL here? Gonna get there. Okay, we're intercepting. Then submit. Okay, so it's a simple GET request. Let's put this one on repeater. If I just do a single quote here, just for the fun of it. Wah wah. Okay. Well, well, what do we have here? There's a session token and an access key and a key ID. I'm gonna configure these in my shell. Oops. Let me just do some documentation part here for future's sake, because one of you asked if we could do a Medium blog post out of these streams, and I would love to do that. Trust me, I really do. But time. There's only 24 hours in a day. So I take this. But can I copy? Can I copy, please? Can I please copy this? But what I will try to do, I'll try to do something eventually. Probably because I need to, like I said, improve my. I'm just looking for this part here so I can grab these environment variable names. So I promise that I am going to try my best and improve on video editing. And no, that's the actual access key, not the ID. Key ID. And then there's a token. Like this. Okay. Let's take this one. Okay, so all I did is, and I'm pretty sure it's just really JavaScript there, so I can probably just disable the whole thing altogether. This is the other way around this, the browser way. So there's a validate form function that will return a false if it's not a number. What we can do in this case is just redefine the whole thing here. Allow pasting. Isn't that ridiculous that we need to do this because a couple of attackers figured out that they can just ask people to paste JavaScript here, and that's a valid attack. Doesn't that bother you? But yeah, you can do it easily the same thing within just a browser. You don't need Burp Suite because it's just JavaScript. So client-side validation, which is bad. Okay, so what can we do? Can we do we have any buckets here that we can list? Okay. We cannot list buckets. What kind of buckets do we have? Based on previous it's flaws.cloud. Based on the previous levels from flaws 1. Access denied. It should be something like this. Maybe it's level 1. Ah. That's the one. Okay, let's create a directory for this one. Flaws level 1. This is flaws 2. I'm gonna get there, and I'm going to sync this bucket here. Sync. Add a dot there. Because I want to get the files. Perfect. So that was level 1. Bypassing the lame client-side validation. Get the token, the access token, configure it, and then grab the files. So I'm going to drop this one here. This one doesn't say level 2 like the others. It's not in the title. There's always some room for improvement. Okay, so we're on level 2. Does it make sense? Everyone got this one. I think this was pretty easy. Do you wanna let's check out the hints if there's anything interesting, because there was indeed a hint. Okay, yeah, no input validation really. So yeah, if you send in anything then a number, then you get the error and it's going to dump. Yeah, you configure this, and then yeah, you get the content of the bucket. So lessons learned. EC2 instances obtain the credentials from their IAM roles. The metadata service, like we saw with level 5. Yeah, okay, it actually mentions level 5. Contains those credentials from environment variables. So yeah, in case of EC2 instances, that's why I said that. So the level 5 one, I think, created it in a way with this proxy server scenario, because you don't want to give access to people to an EC2 instance that you're running. Otherwise, what's gonna be like, we're really into crypto currencies and NFTs today, so otherwise they might start mining on your EC2 instance, which will cost you money. So I think it was a way to circumvent this problem, but very often, like, once you compromise an EC2 instance, you can go for the metadata service and maybe you will be able to get the variables. But yeah, often these credentials are in the environmental variable. So if you can get like code execution or server side request forgery, can be also an option. If the web application grabs for you the environment variables, then you might be able to get these because often it's stored in in case of Linux, in the env environmental variable. Another problem, IAM role privileges list contents buckets which are needed to its operation. Yeah, so that's why, yeah, this one I just kind of guessed because of the previous challenges were also kind of pointing always to a bucket. But it's true here, it was probably not useful. Shouldn't rely on import validation, happen on client side. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing here. Often developers will dump environmental variables when error conditions occur in order to handle debug problems. I actually had it wasn't a really fun case, but there was a case not really tied to cloud, but it was an application that was used by a client of mine, and a third-party company was developing this. It was a marketing, like a microsite thing where they would run the marketing campaign for to win some prizes. I think that was the campaign, and people could register for the campaign, and at the end of the campaign the developers just removed read permissions for the registration site, but they kept the link on the main site, the main page of the site, and when someone clicked on it they would end up on a page that was not accessible. And they also configured debug messages for that application, and the application just spit out all the details for not just environmental variables but also database credentials. And it was a PHP based application with phpMyAdmin exposed to the internet. So fun times. I did the incident response on that one, and we couldn't get like a 100% certainty answer on whether the credentials and the user data was accessed or not. But luckily, at least the developers had all fixed IP addresses. So based on that, we could correlate the logs and see which IP addresses got the debug error message. It was fairly verbose and large, so we could look at the the response size and the response code, because it gave a 500 response code back, and we could correlate those IP addresses with the IP addresses accessing the phpMyAdmin site at the time when this condition existed. And luckily, we found out that only the identifiable developer used static IP addresses were accessing phpMyAdmin at that time. Not 100% certainty, but it was kind of a nice and lucky conclusion. But the fact that they did that was, in my opinion, quite hilarious. Anyways, that was level 1. Let's see level 2. This next level is running containers. So this will be probably to have to do something with containers and Docker. There's this site here. Okay, I need to sign in. I'm gonna do what I always do, because I cannot even count the number of times when this worked just out of the box. Last time it worked was last year at an external penetration test that we did. I went to a site, tried admin, and I was logged in as admin. This still happens. And it was one of the first things that I tried as a junior pen tester when I was just this little. And I think it was also, I have a good relationship with these marketing microsites. It was a marketing microsite for a client, but it was included in the scope, and I got in with admin, and it was a WordPress site, so we were able to get after that as admin execution on that box. Yay! So admin, always try it without even firing up a tool. Just try admin, and you never know, you might trip off an alarm because it was a honeypot. That's also in the cards. Just like an S3 bucket, other resources on AWS have open permissions. Elastic Container Registry is named level 2. Okay. Yeah. I got nothing, so I'm gonna go to the help. ECR. I wonder if there's something like, is it even spelled like this? ECR. Okay, you can manipulate the Elastic Container Registry to the API. That's good. So list List images. That sounds kind of good. I'm gonna go with the list images one. Yeah, well, maybe I should do, like, I'm gonna put this one aside. And also documentation. So we have level 2 here. List images looks good. What was this? AWS ECR, right? You want to do that one. Is there anything for get policy? Maybe authorization token, registered policy, but the login password also sounds interesting. I'm going to keep these. Repository. Oh, this is registered. This is repository policy. I don't know. I'm just gonna grab it. These are potentially interesting and good. I think. Not sure. We'll see. But I really think that listing the images might be something we should try. Maybe. Folks are awfully silent, by the way. So if you have any questions, again, do not hesitate to ask. Let me know. I want to list the images. I think I will go with list images. Let's see what's required for this. Repository name is required, which we got from the free hint. And hopefully my token is still valid because I've been messing around here for quite some time. Doesn't edges what? That sounds stupid. For sure I'm doing the right thing. Oh, now we're going to Stack Overflow. Hold on to your hats. This is not gonna end well. AWS error. Okay. You said the region? Okay. Is it? So let me take a step back. This thing says the only mandatory parameter is the repository name. And yet on the region, okay. I made an assumption here. Also, I can also check the, probably this one. This will not give me the page. Let's see what the actual game is posted on. Oops. So I made an assumption, and it was a stupid assumption to make, because flaws2 is not in the same region as flaws1. Apparently. Okay, now we got something here. One image. That's why I said I'm pretty sure this is the... I mean, they give us the repository name, and that's normally the only thing we should need. But apparently the documentation is wrong. And this is a well-known thing. How stupid that is. What's the date on this one? Doesn't Doesn't say. But I mean, what is repository name? So this one, like, it's more than a year ago and the documentation is still incorrect. Horrible, terrible. Anyways, I like this one. I don't know what we can do with this though, but I do like the fact that we have this one now. So there's a tag and a digest. How do I get a? I cannot spell container. What is the? No, this is the sign up page. Yeah, pulling an image. That's what I want to do. Describe repositories. That's a good idea. Describe images is also a good idea. I want to do all of that one. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't have the permission to do describe repositories. Describe images? You have the repository name. I'm gonna put the region now. I don't trust these. I don't trust these people. I don't trust them. Oh. Well, I didn't get more, but I definitely didn't get that less. There's also a registry ID. Not sure if this will be useful, but I'm gonna put this one aside as well. Now this is how you pull. Okay, well, that's cool, but previous account ID. Okay, let's get the caller identity real quick. Ah, okay. This is the same. So I think that's the one thing I'm missing here. Possibly. Not sure. I'm level 1, level. Ah no, that should be good because this is level 2. I'm now mixing up the two games. Okay. Well, this is not helping me. Private registry authentication. Using an authorization token. There's this get login pass. So this one apparently gives me a credential. A credential. Where's my note? I put this one and then I deleted because I'm stupid. Okay. We do need a region for this. I want to try this one out. Place back there. And why is this not? It's one big base 64 blob here. Oh, this looks like an access token. How am I gonna put both of these aside? But wait, it pipes it into... Oh, this one just eats it like the command returns it. And then I need the account ID and the region. I think we have all of these. Right? So region, we already had it. It was US East. And where was that ID number? It's this one. Account ID, and then I need the region again. Okay, so get login password, region. We saw that this one returns the token. And then this just I wonder if this is good. I don't know. This was not marked in red. I guess you just use the AWS user here. And then what? You can do a pool like this. Yeah, but I need to adjust that poll command as well. Oh, I don't have Docker installed. Sorry, lame, totally lame. Okay, we're gonna install Docker real quick. If you have Docker, then yeah, it should have, and it's gonna run as root by default. So I'm gonna have to add a sudo here for the command. Here, I'm gonna add a sudo here. Let's work on the pool command in the meantime. So we're gonna use again sudo account ID. We already established that. Actually, I think I need the whole thing here. And then that's definitely not Amazon Linux. The tag was latest. I think it's the repository name here. Like this. I don't know. We'll see. So this one is done. Now this is not, but I'm stupid again. Again, I'm stupid. I forgot to put the sudo here. It says login succeeded. It says login succeeded. It's pulling it down. It works. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, sudo docker images. I got a container here. What's the? There's something like I think it's inspect. Or something like that. No, it's inspect. Did I? But it needs it needs an ID. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this, let me just explain it, is and I learned this one quite recently, but if you look at our YouTube channel, there's a solution guide for the River Security Christmas Challenge, and some of the ones towards the end is about Docker and how it has a history saved in. So you see all these layers. Docker keeps track of the changes made to the container. The container itself is really just it's just a zip file, and it contains all the data throughout the changes. So it remembers the changes you made, and in that challenge, you just had to find a flag. You can watch the video. It's a fairly short one. I think it was like 5 or 10 minutes long. So Docker has a history command, and you can review all the changes in all the commands. So I think this challenge is very, very similar to the level 4 challenge that we saw with flaws 1, because it has the HT password here. We just cannot see it. Check. There's don't truncate the output. I think the rest is not interesting for us. This looks awful. Okay, wait. Nope, not gonna do it like this. I'm not gonna eyeball this one. Less, and we're going to tell less not to do line wraps. This is much better. You can navigate with the keys, the arrow keys, left and right. So this one here was the one that looked interesting. You also have here some scripts like start, proxy, and index.html, but this one here is actually creating the password, which is seriously, it's secret underscore password. That's it. Come on. I should have guessed this one. Yep. We totally should have guessed this one. Anyways, this is pretty interesting and cool feature. So whenever you can get your hands on a container used by the target organization, that might be some juicy stuff. Often you're probably even going to find their keys, not just passwords and credentials, but that is pretty neat. That's a cool challenge. So how did we get here? I'm going to save the level 3 link here. I'm going to edit the bookmark here so it says level 3. So how did we get here? So we after some hard-earned staring at the documentation, installing Docker, we figured out how we can get the info, which should include the region apparently, to list and describe images, so that we have the list of images there from the registry. And then with a get login command, we can get a token that allows us to pull the container from the registry, which we did over here. So this part here. And then I'm just trying to piece it together for myself as well. And then we just use the, did I save these in my notes? I didn't pay attention, and I didn't took any notes here. So we did, I'm just gonna grab this one as for later proof. Then we had so this is, at this point, it's all local. Once we grab the container, it's all local. And we looked at after some typos, the inspect command already tells us that there is additional layers here, which are kind of act as a history of the container, and then looked at the history and got the this is ugly, but I'm going to grab it from here. We got where is it? Where is it? Where did it go? Here. So we got this line here, and this contains the, I'm gonna copy it like this. This contains the password that we needed to bypass the authentication screen for the level 2 challenge. So here, this one, which now, yeah, after because it's just browser-based authentication, it doesn't ask me to authenticate again because it's now within the browser. So lessons learned, there are lots of other resources in AWS that can be public, but they're harder to brute force for you because you have to include not only the name of the resource, but also the account ID and region. Oh, wow, thank you to tell me now that I also need the region. Why wouldn't you put that one in the initial hint? They can also be searched with DNS records. However, it is still best to avoid having public resources. You also learned a little about Docker. We can also check the hints. Okay, listing out the images. This doesn't use the... maybe we could have done it with a registry ID. I'm not sure about that one. Didn't we try that one and didn't work? Okay, so it gets the... Seriously, you can just do it like this because we did have that one. No, gives the same error message as without it. This is not working. This worked. Ha! The solution is wrong. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. You need to, and we got the same exact error message with or without the registry ID. Actually, the registry ID is in the error message, so this wouldn't work without the region. You need to include the region there. Good thing we're not relying on the hints. Yeah, they're pulling down the... there's a get login one as well. I can remember seeing a get login. That was get login password. I think I'm gonna after this probably write a message to Scott and tell him that certain things should be fixed in the solution guide using the CLI batch get image. Okay. Well, we use the Docker method, but apparently you can also do the same thing with the CLI and just grab the info that you need through the CLI. Well, this sounds like more work. And then, yeah, find that thing and get here. Okay, cool. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, we need to speed up. We only have an hour left. And I do want to do maybe we'll just browse through the defense part, but I do want to spend a little time with that. Or maybe we can go a bit over time if you're okay with that. So, level 3 challenge. The containers web server got access to include simple proxy that can be accessed with... This is very much like the... level 5 challenge from the previous one, which used the metadata service. Okay, okay. That's why you need to keep good notes, better notes than this one. So yeah, it was like this, but we need, I'm gonna delete the flaws part. Haha. Apparently it's not that easy. Anyways, we're doing level 3, so I'm going to take note of that. Probably should do... I promise I will try to do some better note keeping for the next stream. Probably use something like Obsidian. So far this did not work. Okay, but I'm gonna put that one aside. So service. What? We've already been here? Oh no, this is just a stupid sign up page. This is so annoying with the search results. Okay, so for this is the version 1 that I tried. But there's also version 2. As I mentioned, there's version 2 for the IMDb's service, and I just think that this one might use the version 2 instead. Oh, it's a different IP address. So many windows that I need to navigate. So we're going to do like this. Actually, I'm probably going to do it here. Okay, this one does return something. So how do I get to the... How can I get the secrets? Sorry about the beeps. It's the VM. I'm going to put it this. No, it still beeps. I don't know why is it doing it, sorry. So no secrets. No more secrets. They say it in the movie. If you got the reference, you're awesome. If you didn't, then come be with us on Friday and you will hear references about all of those movies. What was the node name? Security credentials. Does it look like it? Are we doing timelines? I'm gonna struggle a little bit, and then if I don't get anywhere, then maybe I guess V2 credentials or something. Ah, it's the same one. No, this is version 1. What's this part here? But it's just this one just says credentials. Now I'm gonna doesn't copy properly. So just prepared this link, but I think I will just move all of these into this side here. I don't have to switch and look aside all the time. Okay, page not found. But it okay, I'm gonna take a hint. I want to do the Defender side as well, and we're running out of time. Okay, GUID is found in the environment. Okay. Yeah, this should be sufficient. So we need to grab the environment variable. That has the GUID. I think that's the idea. But I was on the right track. So I did have I have it here. So this one is good. It just needs a GUID. Which we should figure it out. So I wonder if we can get files. I wonder if this one works. This might not work. No, it does work. That's nice. Okay, so we can, this is basically server-side request forgery all over again. So I should be able to do self. So this process, is it like this, or I can't remember. If anyone remembers, how can I, with it, not like this, how can I get the not environment? I think that's the one. Right? Chat, do you know if I'm right or if I'm completely wrong? Those of you are still here with me and hacking and alive. So the idea is that we cannot just get the env variable, environmental variable, and see what's included with that. But you can have multiple ways to fetch what is set for the current environment. So I think like this, it should work. So basically, it's the processes. The current running processes environmental variables listed out here. Yes. This is pretty ugly. Okay, it's even uglier like this. There should be a GUID value in this mess somewhere. Do I have this one saved? I'm going to just grab this. And I can't state that, oops. I can't state that when I'm working, I keep more organized notes than this. A little bit more organized ones, like I keep separate files. I'm not gonna save that one. But it's, I usually have to take some extra time afterwards to clean up. Where is this? This looks like the endpoint that we want to have. So v2 credentials, I'm going to do it like this. I have no idea. Okay, awesome. I see an access key here, secret access key. I think afterwards we'll just go for the bucket, and that's it. All right. Let me see I'm gonna grab these from my notes. What was it? It was the first challenge where we had these variables, right? Right over here. Let's grab these. Should have started one single file. Okay, access key ID. Boom. Secret key. Boom, I said. All right, and then the token. Starts here. Okay. Well, we will see if this one works. Okay, and then AWS. Let's try to just list out the buckets first, and if that one, but it works. And I'm pretty sure this is the, yeah. This is the, then it's only 3 levels. That was kind of short. I was worried that we're not gonna be able to finish on time, but maybe I should have struggled a bit more. I'm pretty sure you would have enjoyed me struggling for another like half an hour trying to figure out the GUID thing. So I'm glad that I eventually decided to just take pick a hint. Let me just put everything here in my notes to the bottom. Okay, cool. So that was level 3. Awesome. I mean, I hope if I cannot access this one, then I'm gonna look like a fool. Let's try to do this one. Yeah, no, that's the end. Okay, awesome. So it was IMDS, but it was the new version of IMDS. Then you can see it's kind of hard. Without the GUID, you won't be able to. Where is it? Without the GUID, you won't be able to get the to get to the token that easily. So it's not just querying a couple endpoints and eventually get to the endpoint that contains the secrets. But you need a GUID value, which is still something that the service relies on, and in this case it was in an environment variable, so you can still grab it from there. Okay, awesome. So please tweet about it and mention it in your Slacks. We will definitely, and we're also going to DM Scott because the hints for level 2 were incorrect. Now I'll drop this one here. Let's see the level 3 hint. So we took this first hint, next hint. Okay, they do the same thing. Okay, awesome. Yeah, they just do the same thing with this proxy thing. And again, the same applies here. So apparently, okay, on containers, it's using the V2 and V2 only. I guess that was seemingly the result of our searches. You need to use the V2 MDVS. You need to use the version 2 of the metadata services if you want to access the token for a container. Apparently in AWS, for containers at least, version 1 is not even used anymore. Cool beans. So all is left is the Defender path. And this one is pretty interesting. I took a peek into this one before the stream, and we get credentials that we can use, and we can log into even the environment. So this is the same kind of security account that we had, what sort of have with the, what was it, challenge 6 of the flaws 1, at least I think, and it has permissions to grab the CloudTrail logs. So we have the access key, we have the secret key, and we need to download the CloudTrail logs. So I'm going to configure another profile here for this one with the usual command. AWS configure. Let's call this flaws2 defender, and create a profile. So access key ID, secret key. Now default region, I think this whole thing was in, I forgot. What was the region here? I think it was East 1. Yeah, this East 1. Whatever, doesn't really matter. And then we should be able to, we can check the caller identity, of course, with the profile. This is flaws2 defender. And it says, okay, looks like the same account ID number. So this looks good. And then we can download the logs. I am going to create a directory for this one. Okay, AWS. I wonder if we can list the buckets, just out of curiosity. Okay, flaws2 logs. Is this the bucket that we need to? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm so smart. I figured it out without reading the manual. That's a first, right? But I hope you can understand that this is part of the learning process and solving these challenges. I cannot keep everything in my head, and the CLI is quite complex. It has many options. So using the help is really the way to go. Now, yeah, I still need a profile. And here. Okay, I just clicked away from the chat. This is the profile. So we're getting the, and these are CloudTrail logs. So AWS logs. Okay. It's just a series of directories until we get down to the gzip JSON files. JSON and having, this is generally true that this is not really cloud related, but having JSON and gzip format for your logs when you do an investigation or forensic is super common. So you need to be familiar and comfortable working with these formats. Why do I have burp here still? I'm gonna follow the objectives more or less here. This is the target account, and you need to be able to manipulate them. For example, you don't even need to decompress these. You can just use something like zcat, and then let's grab the first one and just get what's inside. It seems like probably 2 records here. Ops. Let's see, JQ -C. A -C will maybe I need to do that. I don't need the -R. -C is going to print every entry in a single line, but it's in records because that's the structure someone came up with. So there. No, wait, this is not the. I think CR. Why is it doing a line break? There's a way to tell JQ not to do line wrapping. Anyways, if we count the number of lines here, we have 2 records in this file. That's not a lot. I think should be able to try to do this just out of curiosity. Zcat all. Okay, so this gives me the number of total records in all the files. So I'm just getting the content from the older zip files and then dropping it to JQ. And we need to get out the actual events from the records array, as you saw it before, like here. This is an array in the JSON object. And within it, we have 2 events. You can kind of see it if you're eyeballing it. So there's event version here, event version here. You see 1 record ending and another one beginning. But you can also just using some basic shell command count the number of records here by going into the array. And then you can count the number of records. This is useful for determining how long it will approximately take to ingest the data that you have if you have a larger data set. This is pretty small. And I would like to grab these actually to, maybe I will, in the meantime, I'll fire up the soft alk VM as well. I think we're gonna have time for that one as well. Because how many steps they had here in the Defender one? There's like 6 steps and we're kind of already at step 2. While that's booting up, what is this about? Okay, so we're going to access the target account. And it's kind of common that you might want to access the compromised account during an incident to see what happened, do the necessary containment and remediation steps. Nano. And this is the config. Normally there shouldn't be anything interesting in there. So I just need to. So setting the region, the output like the others, and then the source profile. So we're going to use this profile here, but with the security role, but accessing the target security account. Here though, I have a different profile name, so that's not the source profile. So we're going to be able to access the target profile using the permissions that we already have with the other account. I hope it makes sense. And that's really just the idea here. And now we can check. So where do I have the? So note how if you use that other profile, where's my? I'm not gonna type it in again. that kind of person who hits up arrow 30 times until I get to the ls command that I used earlier. So if we use the defender profile, note how the account ID is different from the one that is returned with this one. Okay, so we have the permissions with the security account that it's a profile that I called flaws defender for some inexplicable reason. And we can take a look at the profile this way. So for example, this one says this profile allows us to see all the buckets. Yeah, which I'm not sure if we couldn't do it with the other profile though, but I think it can do it as well. No, actually no. Yeah, that makes sense. So because the security profile is pretty much just a read-only one, you can only see the flaws2 logs, and then the target security one sees, well, in this case, for example, these level buckets here. Okay, that was a pretty cool example. I probably should save these ones aside, like all of it, because that was pretty much the objective. I didn't take any notes again. I am so bad at this. I'm just gonna drop there a couple of things. Okay, now the torture part. Let's use JQ. What are these obscure find commands here? No, we're not gonna decompress it. That's amateur hour. We're not doing that. Instead, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Let me just steal this JQ command here. So I think the idea here next is to do zcat. The idea here is to, and I'm going to show you even something cooler. You want to see something cool, chat? Do you want to see something cool? I'm gonna show something cool. So what you can do here we're just selecting. So if we pick just one record here we're just selecting an element in the JSON object, and specifically here there's the event name. This will give us a good sort of feel on what happened, but these are not going to be necessarily in order, so we need to order it. What I like to do before even looking at the events and browsing through them chronologically is to do this trick. Do you know this one? Do you know this trick? It's not really a trick, but what we're doing here, again, some bashful, we're going to order a list of elements that is returned by this command, and we're going to count the unique occurrences there, and then we're going to sort numerically. So -n tells sorted numerically, and I get this sort of frequency list on the various events. So we have a bunch of get objects. That's probably not uncommon. Create log stream. We had cloud trails enabled, so I'm not really worried about that one. Assume role, you will see it a bunch of times. And then because we know that this is a compromised account, the fact that we see list images and list buckets, that's not a great sign. We can do a further dive into the chronological order of the events, but this kind of quick overview is like these are kind of important events if you see them in CloudTrail. And by the way, CloudTrail, let's try to grab one single line, one single record rather, and maybe not do the so CloudTrail contains a bunch of valuable information, not just the event time, but you also see here things like the event name is important, the region where it happened, the ARN. There's the user agent field, which in this case is some internal call, so it's not super interesting. But if an attacker, for example, interacts with your management console, their user agent will show up here. We should also see somewhere an IP address, which I cannot see now, but just have to. I think we cannot see it now because it's a type of internal call here, a trail of an internal event. But there are really a ton of value in CloudTrail logs, and you can collect them either in S3 buckets or send them to something like CloudWatch and do also further analysis on that. So let's see what Scott is doing here. These are slightly out of order. Okay, so he does a sort on the events. It's pretty cool. I should have saved the output of the other one. So this is the order how they occurred. Like I said, this part here, probably just normal operations. And then we have here list images, batch get image, list buckets. Shortly one following the other. So this is probably the part that, like, post compromise, when someone was just listing out. Hello Snow CS, how's it going? Thanks for popping by. We're already on the defined side. I should have changed the color of the LEDs. Let me try to let me try to do that one real quick. There, now we're doing the blue stuff. Okay. I just have a serious delay on the stream as I see it. Yeah, so we're kind of towards here at the end of the compromise. And we see the events in now appropriate order. And yeah, so one other thing, what we're doing here is we're just selecting the fields from the JSON object that are relevant for us, because you saw, excuse me, you saw here there's plenty of different keys here, values that are not that interesting for us. So we're just selecting the juiciest ones. And this is a longer command that selects the other things and does nice tab separated format. So again, this is just a modifier here in JQ. So this is JQ specific, not JSON specific. JQ has these modifiers to format the data. CCAT. So not exactly doing what is in the solution guide. Well, this looks kind of ugly, isn't it? So again, I think viewing this, and I would also include here probably the source IP entity. I would put here probably. I'm gonna put it in the end. I think it's user agent like this. Let me peek a little bit. Yeah, should be good. And I'm just gonna get the user agent part here and sort it, but I'm also going to pipe this to that less command, so I don't have line breaks. And here, that's what I was referring to. I think CloudTrail also has some GeoIP, or you can do it when you do the enrichment. You can do some GeoIP lookups based on the IP address, which is, yeah, it's not, I know it's not great, but at least the country you can get, just don't rely on it too much. But if it's a different country than what your normal user population normally resides in, then yeah, that's still a good indicator. So we see here that we have something that allows us to distinguish like the standard internal events from there's a list image here. Okay, this is even, so we have three things here. Some internal events. We have here what seems to be Google Chrome. Don't get mistaken by the Safari part here, and because it's Mac OS. Google Chrome is just pretending to be Safari. And then we also have Bodo here, which is and Python and the AWS CLI here. So these are CLI calls, but it's based on the Bodo development kit. That's the SDK for AWS. And the list buckets was performed by that. So if we look at the IP addresses, this one, no, they're coming from the same IP. So the browser and the CLI calls, right? Yeah, they look that they are coming from this IP address, and these are just internal Amazon ones, so I wouldn't worry about it much. That's the attacker IP here, pretty much. Okay, I don't know what Scott is doing here, but it's definitely identify credential tab. Yeah, list bucket. Yeah, okay, this is a valid thing. Like what was taken. This is the point where you can answer that question after you know who was taking the stuff. Now you can just, and yeah, this works kinda with the select function for a large data set. Never use select with JQ. It's non-optimized. It's very slow, but it's only 37 records here, so should be fine. Better way of doing it is to use something like zgrep. So that's one way of getting this event. Let me show you another way of doing the same thing. Zgrep. And you can probably tell how I'm a lot more comfortable doing this kind of analysis compared to actually hacking things. I don't need to look into manuals or anything, because that's these days it's more the kind of activity that I'm doing. What was I about to do? Yeah, and then we can just grab the one record. So here I'm just zgrepping. Probably should do like on all files here, and I should probably get into, why is it not in the, okay, sorry, I'm going to do this in the same window because apparently I'm not gonna change around the directories. So this should give us the same. What's wrong? This is not giving me the, okay, sorry, zgrep being stupid. It's -h. The problem here, so JQ cannot parse this because zgrep is being stupid. Nobody told zgrep to include the file name, but it does here at the beginning, so we cannot parse it as JSON. I think with the -h, yeah, it gets rid of the file name, so it's like hush hush. I think that's why it's -h. Now it's the same. Now it's the same. So here we have the list bucket one, and I'm not sure if we see significantly more. We see here the compromised role and account, sorry. So this is the level 3 role that I can't remember if we saw that one while we were doing the red team part. But there's the list bucket. Here's the IP address. This was done using the CLI, and that's pretty much what we can tell. And the fact that this is the RN for the resource. So what was taken is the answer is the level 3 bucket, and then this call came from level 3. So let's look at. Okay, I'm not gonna issue this command because Yeah, it does have the permission, so. Okay, I get what they're looking at here. So the service here is the ACS task, and normally this does not require to access the bucket going from an outside IP address. And here the IP address that we have is this one, which is definitely external. Quite frankly, I don't even know who is this or what is this. Let's try to do that. No, not this one. Not this one. No, I want to have the domain tools. Leave me alone. No. Care about that one. I don't even know what is that. Name silo. I'm using the domain tools one because not a robot. Leave me alone. Oh, because it contains also ASN information. I think also. So this is Akamai. At least now. So it can be whatever, but it's definitely not AWS. And it's weird that a container to reach a bucket comes from an external IP. So that's not normal. Put it down. We don't have logs. Yeah, so this one explains the same thing. There's also a talk on this, but this is a really good indicator that something is off. So normally these two services should be talked to each other just internally. There's no reason to list a bucket from an outside address. Okay, there's also the list images one. We can take a look at that one as well. Just super quick. I'm going to use the select one. But just keep in mind, if you have like a couple thousand records, this is not going to be fast enough. Okay, here we see level 1, so using the CLI coming from the same IP, pretty much the same thing, just going after a different resource. I can't remember, level 1 was the container service, I think, still. Profile target security, repository. What's the idea with this one? I don't really understand. Okay, we're just checking the repository policy, and yeah, again, this is super ugly. So with JQ, you can format this. Probably like this. And then again, what was it? From JSON. Yeah, so yeah, it had the bench get image and list images permissions apparently. So we're just verifying that. And okay, yeah, and I told him is that, yeah, principal is star, which is everyone out on the internet, every psychopath on the internet. Okay, this one we're not going to do, I think. You have to do it with your own account, yeah. I'm going to skip this one. Instead, what I would like to do is in the remaining couple minutes, try out the ingestion script in Soft Elk and see how it works. Otherwise, what you need to do is really create a database, and then you're gonna pull it out from that bucket, the flow2 logs, or what was the name of it. You get the cloud trail, and then you can use Athena. That's a pretty common thing that I've seen people using to then, instead of messing around with JQ, you can write SQL queries. So if you prefer writing SQL queries, which probably a lot of you do, I don't like SQL. then this can be a viable alternatives. And that was the end of the official one. Yeah, I might do this one a bit later, but I'm not going to do it right now because I think it's more interesting to see what this would look like if you load it into ELK. And also, I'm not going to go through the analysis part now. I just want to see if I can grab all these files now, and I want to SCP it into our soft elk. Now, with soft elk, if you downloaded it and started up the VM, on the pre-login screen, it will give you the IP address of the system. And you can use that to SSH in. The user is elk_user at, I think that's the default one at least. What was it, 100? Okay. 129? Yes, not Yosh. And then forensics is the default password. So we are in. I'm going to use this terminal. Probably should have used another terminal for SSHing again. I'm going to repeat the process, sorry, because I want to use this one for SCPing, and then I don't need to. What is going on here? I don't have to change directories. What is this? Okay, I don't need these. I'm going to remove all of these here. These are just example evidence that you can use if you want to play around. This was the old network forensics classes 2 labs, but they're really fun ones. So if you want to practice your skills, maybe we can do later some analysis on it. Yeah, that would be cool for a stream. So maybe we can do that one on a Monday. I'm gonna write that one down. Sorry. This is a great idea that I just had, and we can totally do that kind of analysis together. That should be a pretty fun thing. So I don't know. This should be a good reminder. All right, so I want to SCP these in. How do I do that? SCP star for all the files, and then elk_user at 192.68.2, and I'm just going to drop it in the elk user's home and 6. I have all the files here. All right, so there is a set of ingestion scripts in soft elk. And there's one for AWS for the CloudTrail logs. Actually, probably I'm going to move this one to, let me just do a directory here. Or maybe I can use it like this. We'll see. Let's check out how it works. Okay, so you can read gzip JSON. That's good news. We don't need to do anything with the files themselves. And then I need to write it out into the appropriate directory, which is by default here. log/AWS is where I think now Filebeat is listening. And when you drop something, it will just grab it and send it to log stash. But I think in the past it was log stash listening here. So I'm going to grab the files here. If I make a mistake, there's also a script that allows me to delete the index. So I'm going to recursively read everything from the dot, the local directory here, the current directory rather. And then I'm going to write it to here. I think that's all. Oh, I need to create a file here. Okay, flaws2.json. How about that one? Okay. I wonder if this is, yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to do a separate folder. We'll see. We do know that there should be 37 records. So there's another script, the soft elk clear, and I'm not gonna drop it, but there's one function, and I think there should be like a -L to do this functionality instead of the I list, because it's very, I think it's misleading, but I don't wanna piss off Phil. I'm causing enough headache to him every single time he has to interact with me, so. Okay, so with the -list, this will give us the number of documents. It's 37, so I think those files in there were not a problem. Okay, so SoftAlk has a full Elastic Stack and it runs Kibana. So I'm just gonna go there. Looking at the, here we still have a little time with the music. Yeah, don't worry about these. Basically what I want to do is just go to the Discover tab and see if the data is there. Maybe do a few quick searches. So the index pattern is not the right one. I need AWS. It's not from the last 15 minutes, but I'm just gonna do this very, very lazily and gonna say years. Let's see, 2008, and later we can zoom in there. So again, 37 hits. That's precisely what we want to. I can just keep zooming in, and you don't need to use SoftAlk for this. It's just very convenient because it's used for the Sans Cloud Forensics class, which in the future I am scheduled to teach, but I still need to do a lot of, oops, sorry. I think I messed around with the music a little bit, sorry about that one. But I still need to do some preparation, and you can do the same thing with your Elastic instance. It's just easier because and I wanted to try it out how easily I can ingest data. So that was one of my goals for this stream. We're still on time, so I think we're good, and we can check out the data here, and let's enable. I'm just going to do the table format here. Let's. I wonder, by the way, if there's a good dashboard that we can review as well. For AWS, I can't remember if there's a dashboard put together. Dashboard. This is an Azure one. Yeah, these are the default dashboards. Maybe I didn't remember correctly because I think for the class there's something, but it doesn't matter. We can create our own dashboard if we want to. We don't need someone else's help to do this. By the way, this is the latest, almost the latest, greatest version of the Elastic Stack. And one thing that is really cool is it has the predictable search here, so you can just start typing in. Plus, you don't need to mess around with Apache Lucene, which is a nightmare language. It's not that bad, but it has some annoying things there. So KQL is much nicer. So if I want to add columns here, like the even name, like we saw earlier, I can just click that one. And this is reverse order. But if you order it, then you can see how this matches with what we saw at the command line. Remember, we had the list bucket and list images and batch get images towards the bottom. And by the way, this is pretty much the alternative of the last objective, because Athena is kind of the same idea here. So you can just it's kind of the I wonder what this is. I'm gonna try this one. I need to. Okay, we might circle back for the Athena one. I'm not sure what's this. It says it's a way to get trusted Athena with my account with the people doing undesirable things. I wonder if he already has something there. I'm going to authenticate and see what he has there. But it's a graphical interface that you can use. So kind of the same idea. You can write queries in Kibana. What else do we want to add here? Probably we would like to add, let's search IP. And I think when we ingested, because I did the GeoIP configuration, not sure if we have that field though. I did not do the enrichment, but we can have like AWS region. Not sure if it's really interesting. User agent was totally something interesting. And that was the IP address. Source host, sorry. It's a different name. And if you don't like the order, there's this little arrow icon that allows you to rearrange things. So that was, I think, pretty much the list of fields that Scott selected. Remember? Yeah, here the fields were renamed. The ARN is probably also a good idea. Account ID. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I think with the even name, source host, and the user agent, that's already pretty interesting. You see here the number of events. So this one is just a teeny tiny one. By the way, this is interactive, so you can click on it, and if you are done, you can just go back. That's how you can navigate on Kibana. But we see the same things, and if you are missing something or you want to see the entirety of the record, then you can open this one down. So this one breaks it up at least. So they do some user agent parsing here. I didn't know that. And yeah, listing buckets. This is the ECS version, agent version. So this is from the parsing result. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's try to log in here real quick. And I think at the very beginning they had credentials, so but I'm not sure what we're going to see. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure Athena is security and password is the credential for this account. Probably it's pretty locked down, and if you just do the security audit like we saw it at the beginning, it should be okay. Okay, so we're authenticated. I think it's just, yeah, it's like go here. Yeah, okay, I was stupid because we won't be able to do anything here. Well, if there's popular need, but we're pretty much at time, and it would be nice to finish a stream on time for a change. I'm pretty sure you also want to have other things for the evening. So I would say I'm not gonna do this part here with Athena. Anyways, the steps are really here. So you create it, and then you create a table and grab the logs from this location. And then Athena does the rest for you. So it will just drop everything into that the database, and then you can run queries against it. That's pretty much it. I don't think this is super fascinating, and we're spending like another 20 minutes until I have everything done. Will be kind of tempting, but I'm gonna call it a day and call it a stream. So let's wrap things up here, folks. Just try to find my OBS. So I hope you enjoyed playing Flaws. I haven't found anything else that is online and cloud-based. There are some vulnerable cloud applications that I do want to configure eventually. Next week, though, I have a subscription for the Throwback Labs in Try Hack Me. Normally I wouldn't do Try Hack Me's because everyone is doing Try Hack Me's, but I'm running out of time and I thought it would be a cool thing to look at some Active Directory compromise, good old Active Directory compromise, and see that environment. Plus, I need to finish up that lab before I run out of time. So that's my idea for the next time. So that lab is classic Active Directory enumeration, exploitation, privilege escalation things. So a bit more standard stuff. But today, I think also cloud environments are becoming the norm and becoming kind of a common thing. So we have to understand how to assess the security of the cloud environments, and I think the Defender track is pretty fun as well on this. It's a very small data set, but I do know the reason why. Creating a good, comprehensive, and realistic data set is very, 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 very hard, very challenging. It's something that I am doing with the NetWars development. And I do know how much time and resource it takes to have something realistic there. So having even a small data set like this is pretty cool, just to have a better understanding on how things are connected together. And you can try out as a like extra challenge or extra homework the Athena part as well if you like. I probably will do it later. And if I do edit eventually the streams and I find a time to do the editing, then I'm going to include that one as well in the stream. So I will sit down and record it, or maybe I will do it now. But I want to finish up at least one stream on time. So to wrap things up, as a reminder, day after tomorrow on Friday, we're going to put together a Prusa Mini 3D printer. At least we will start it and then we'll see how it goes. But I want to finish it up hopefully in one stream. So that will be a longer stream, much longer, like really 6 hours. But I plan to do things like rating hacker movies, looking at Infosec memes, and playing games. Unfortunately, like Stream Raiders, I'm not gonna be able to do that because you need 100 followers to be a captain there, and I don't see that one happening until Friday, but never say never. But we'll figure something out. There are probably other games that we can play. There's also GeoGuess or Guesser and stuff like that. So less InfoSec related, but I try to do more InfoSec related fun stuff there. And Ava is going to join me. So we're going to look together the manual and still not being able to put together the printer probably. But we'll attempt it. And on Sunday, it's going to be the Hungarian stream with Try Hack Me, beginner friendly. We're going to play the Junior Pentester Challenge. Now, I'm not sure if we can raid anyone, but let me check real quick if there's someone to raid. There's Ali. So I think we're just going to raid her channel. She probably started up. Ali is a software developer, and I think she's working on a book about information security for kids. That's pretty much it. And she's more of a developer, but tries to transition to the security field. So let's go there, and I'm going to select her, and we're going to continue watching streams, but we're going to move to her channel. That's all for today. Hope you had a good time, and see you on Friday. Bye.